Check 1, 2.
Go! Curious about real estate? Yes! Then you've come to the right place. Get the knowledge you need. Get over the fear and get started. This is the Michael Quarles Real Estate Show with your host, Michael Quarles.
Hello, everybody. Michael Quarles with the Michael Quarles Real Estate Show. Today is Tuesday, April 12th, and it is podcast 235. 5 questions sent in by real estate investors, and I'm going to ask and answer them. Remember, if you have or are struggling with accountability, text the word wealth to the number 313131, and we will help you with that accountability. Also, if you're thinking about getting a coach for real estate investing, take a look at our program. It's pretty cool. Here we go. Question number 1. Should we follow up at 15, 30, 60, and 90 on every single person that calls us, even if they're completely unmotivated? For example, if they say something like, I'll stay here until it sells, and if it doesn't sell, I won't move. Yes, you do. You call them back at 15, 30, 60, and 90. Let me tell you what happened to me on my Bentley. And I know I've probably said this before, but this may be the first time you hear it. I'm a goal person, so I write down what my goals are, and I knew for a fact that I was going to be buying my Bentley in September of 2015. I absolutely knew I was going to buy it in September of 2015. Anybody asked me, I would have said, yep, it's right there on my goal sheet. Can you see? Right there, it says Bentley. My salesman for the Bentley at the Bentley dealership, he knew I was buying my Bentley September 2015. But that little booger, you know what he did? He kept following up with me, following up. And I kept telling him, I said, it's not September 2015 yet. I'm not going to buy it until then. And then he sent me an email with this gorgeous red Bentley that was the display Bentley for the Masters. And I just fell in love with it. But it was only January. So I know following up works, and it works well. I also know that it works in real estate, and it works well. What someone tells you today could be them kicking a cat, them truly not being interested in selling. But here's what happens. Here's what happens to the mind. You call them, would you like to sell your house? No. Or they call you about the postcard you sent them, and you want to sell your house? They say no. They walk into 7-Eleven, they see a realtor magazine. Their brain's just storing the information. All of a sudden, they see a for sale sign go up on the street. They get another letter from you. So, you want to sell your house? Gosh, I told that guy last month, take me off his list. Another for sale sign goes up a month or so later. They open the newspaper up, and all of a sudden, they go into the classified section for houses for sale, looking at house values and stuff. Go back into that 7-Eleven, pick up one of those realtor magazines, start looking at the house prices in those. Got open house down the street around the corner at one of those for sale signs. They stop in and look at that. And then all of a sudden, they're ready to sell. They're being touched by all these things. And it's starting to train their mind to get ready to sell. They're going to go to a new track house, subdivision, and look at the models. Man, it's just cool stuff. They're going to talk. All of a sudden, they're talking to their friends about it. And now all of a sudden, you send another postcard or a yellow letter or something. And they go, I'm going to call this guy back. Or you call them back at 60 days, and they go, you know what? 60 days ago, I wasn't thinking about it, but we've decided to have you come out and buy our house. And that's what follow through is. Here's the thing I'm going to ask you to do. Don't take notes. Don't take notes of people when they're like being, the kind of people, little fanny heads, don't they're being a jerk. Don't write down jerk. Because if you write down jerk on the inbound questionnaire, and then you put it in your tickler to call back in 15, 30, 60, 90, you're going to see the word jerk. You're not going to call the person back. You're going to say, you're going to use whatever phrase you use to explain who the person is to you, and you're not going to call them back. And so rather than being predisposed to who the person is, don't write down the note. Don't take a note. Don't write something if it's negative. So you'll keep calling them back. Because I've been a jerk one day, and I'm the nicest guy you'll meet. I will absolutely go out of my way to help you. But yeah, I've woken up on the bad side of the bed, the wrong side of the bed, or whatever you call it. So understand that's normal. And if they're just Mr. Butthead, that's just who they are. That's just who they are. They're like that with everybody. Don't take it personally. But absolutely call them back 15, 30, 60, 90. Great question. Question number 2. How can I follow my passion and build the real estate business I want while simultaneously working 60 hours a week at my day job? Well, 24 times 7, 168 hours a week. So you have 108 hours left. You have less, you're working less than you have extra. So if you think about it, do some research on how many hours of sleep highly successful people need. And you'll find that it's like 4, 5. So let's say it's 5, and you have 108 left over. So 5 times 70, 35. 35 from 108 is 73. Now let's divide 73 by 7, because that's how many days in the week you have. And so you have, on average, 10 hours a day. You have, on average, more leftover time than you do at work. And yeah, is it going to be easy? No, it's not. Here's the thing I can promise you. Until the pain of not changing outweighs the pain of changing, you won't change. So unless that 60 hours a week that you're working right now that you don't want to do because your passion's in real estate, until that hurts you more than how much it's going to hurt you to do that and something else, you won't do anything else because you won't need to. But it's not going to be easy. But it's not going to be as hard as that 60-hour job. And I'm not a big fan of saying, if you've got a good job, guys and gals, yeah, I'm a real estate entrepreneur. I'm a gorilla. Man, I am that guy. Okay? I'm going to raise my hand when someone says, who's one of the best real estate investors in the country? I'm going to raise my hand. I love it. I live it. I breathe it. I sleep it. I taste it. I touch it. It's consumed my life, but it doesn't need to. It doesn't need to consume yours. You can have a really good job and buy a house once a month and work 10 hours a month at doing it. It's not that hard. So, but if you want to get rid of it, and you have the passion to do it, you're going to do it. My wife does 2-a-days working out in the gym, goes to a personal trainer in the morning, and then she works out in our gym at night. And is it easy for her? No. Does she like doing it? No. She enjoys doing it, but she doesn't like doing it. Is it hard for her? Sure. Is the reward worth it all for her? Absolutely. So it's not going to be easy. But man, it feels awesome, friggin' awesome to be a real estate investor. And I wish if I could, I'd have you be able to, walk the steps that I walk in my life and feel how it feels to be able to do the things that I want to do in life and get to do in life because I'm a real estate investor. God, if I could give that to you, and you would sacrifice a lot to be there, because it is awesome being a real estate investor. Great question.
Thanks for listening. We'll be right back. Are you running out of leads? It's time you tried Yellow Letters at yellowletters.com. Get motivated seller leads through Yellow Letters, postcards, zip letters, typed professional letters, greeting cards, door hangers, and business cards. Yellow Letters is a full-service marketing company created with your success in mind. Get the personal attention you need to get your direct mail campaign started and get in touch at yellowletters.com.
And we are back in 3, 2, 1.
Question number 3. How do I build a strong, solid pipeline of deals? That's marketing, either sweat or paid. And, we're always marketing people. They always say, always be selling kind of thing. So I want to say always be marketing. And so everything you do has to be about filling up that pipeline. Here's one of the really, 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 really core competencies that I think is required to stay with that pipeline or keep that pipeline busy. Is we have to tell everybody that we know what we're doing. So like if you're a school teacher and I asked you, I don't know you necessarily, so I'm going to ask you what you do, and you say, well, I'm a school teacher. Well, shame on you. If you tell me you're a truck driver, shame on you. Because if you're a real estate investor and you want to keep your pipeline busy and full, you're not those other things. You're a real estate investor first. You're a teacher part-time. You just do that 40 hours a week or 50 hours a week, whatever it is. But when you introduce yourselves, you say, I am a real estate investor first. Your elevator speech, you keep your pipeline busy. You have those people that work for you or with you, keeping your pipeline busy by telling them about you. That 6 degrees of separation, where if you tell 6 people to tell 6 people what you do and ask them to tell 6 more people and so on and so forth, then you can touch the world. So if it's a proven fact that all I have to do is go out there and start telling people to tell your story, but yet you tell your story by introducing yourself as a real estate investor, then fall forward. And some of you may say, hey, but Mike, I've sold Amway before. I've sold, A.L. Williams Insurance. I've sold Tupperware. I did all this other stuff. No one's going to believe that I'm serious now. And then here's what you say. After long and careful consideration, this is what I've decided to do. This is my passion. I've researched it. I put a lot of time in making sure that this was the arena that I wanted to create wealth in. And I knew you'd want to share my passion. So after careful consideration and a lot of thought, I've become a real estate investor, and I knew you'd want to share. And, it's okay that you failed before. We've all failed before. We've all tried something and didn't succeed at it. Who cares? I mean, as long as you don't try twice, kind of thing, do the same thing. And yeah, I failed at it twice. Well, that's kind of silly. Nothing learned from the second kick of the mule, is there? So how do you keep it strong? Well, just believe. Just start telling the story. Yeah, do some marketing, do some paid marketing, sweat marketing. Keep it going. Everybody's an opportunity. Do it ethically, morally, and legally. In that order. You'll be fine. Question number 4. I was wondering how to use agents to wholesale properties. I'm not a big wholesaler, and certainly not with an agent. Now, for wholesaling, let me back that up. I'll back up. If you're truly wholesaling and not assigning, yes, you can hire an agent. You're going to put it on the MLS at a reduced price. I don't know why you would, but you could. You could hire an agent, because wholesaling means you're going to take title and resell it. So you're going to have constructive notice. So you're going to have ownership. A lot of people use wholesaling and they actually mean assigning, which you can't really use an agent for because there's no room there to pay the agent. And I don't know why anybody would wholesale on the MLS, but I guess it's done. I'd rather wholesale it at full value. But I'm a big fan of the MLS. You guys have heard me say this over and 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 over again. But let me give you a nugget. Everybody on the call or listening on this podcast today, tomorrow, you should call your county and ask where the foreclosure auction is, what day of the week it's at or on, where it's at. Make sure you have some business cards already. Yellow Letters has them. And when you find out what day it's on and where it's at, I want you to go down and be there. And I want you to take a notepad. And I want you to introduce yourselves to all those cash buyers that are standing there ready to buy houses from the auction, because they have to be cash buyers. And I want you to find out what they want, what kind of property they want. Keep in mind, they're going to group themselves together in a group. So you can go one place and find the cash buyers that are wanting to buy discounted properties. Gosh, don't need an agent to do that. That one thing right there, you get up tomorrow morning and go do that. Okay? Question number 5. If you tithe, I'd love to hear your comments if you believe this has had a positive effect on your professional life. I do tithe a lot. I believe in it. I do it differently than a lot of people do it. And it is rather personal, but I'll touch on it a little bit because I think it's important. I think it's part of what we have to do in life when we're at a position in life to be able to make a difference. And I think even in the beginning, you do it just to get there as well. So there was a time in my life I tithed to church. I gave to my church. And I let my wife do that now. And she's really big in tithing, and she likes to give the church her money. And her money's our money kind of thing. But so she tithes the church. I do it differently. So I'll take on a cause. The cause I'm at is the Avon 39 Walk to End Breast Cancer, because I think cancer is, well, in my life, my uncle priest, he just had surgery for cancer, and he's gone through chemo and radiation and all that kind of stuff. And then I have a really good friend that is going through it as well, Natalie. You probably heard that podcast. My grandmother died of cancer, and so it's had some effect on me, and I wanted to take that cause up, so I do a lot of donations there. I've bought 17 cars for folks that some of them I knew, some of them I didn't. Didn't matter. Bought a book for a kid that had leukemia, and he wanted to spend, if he could, some time out on the water, and his parents needed a boat, and $7,000 boat, and what the heck. Bought everybody groceries at a store one day for Thanksgiving. That was an expensive day, but not really. Every time I tell you what, Girl Scout cookies, I've got cupboards full of them. Because, I can't see those little entrepreneurs. They're just out there. They're cute. You want to buy some cookies? And so first time I did this, I walked up to her and I said, yeah, how many do you have? She goes, well, we have 6 different kinds. And I said, I know. Sorry, I didn't ask the right question. I apologize. How many boxes do you have? And she looked at her mother, and her mother smiled at me, and I said, yeah, I'll take them all. Toy drives. I love it. I don't put toys in the toy drive. I put cash. Give me a barrel. I'll fill it up with money for someone. I did offer to give my church $50,000. I wanted to give it to them and ask them to give it back to the kids and the adults that went through church that day. I go to a big church. So I was going to give them $50,000, and I wanted them to give everybody a $5 bill as they walked through the doors that day to listen to God through our pastor. And I asked the pastor if he'd do something for me, and that was when the basket went around, that he would say something along the lines, we gave you $5 today. You can either keep it, put it in the basket, or match it. Because I knew a lot of people didn't understand the idea of tithing, and especially little kids, and I wanted them to have the joy of actually giving to God. But my church said that was too complicated, so they didn't take me up on it. I thought it was an easy way of teaching the beautiful lesson of tithing. I can go on, but because I'm absolutely open and helping people succeed in life. And that's the important part of what I do is if I can make a difference in someone's life, I want to. And it's all about paying it forward, guys, gals. I use the term falling forward all the time, and you got to lean into it. You've got to make this thing work for you so you can help someone else that can't help themselves. Right now, I'm filling up my Bentley, the back end of it, with homeless signs. And I know I'm not changing in big time the day of the person who's holding the sign that says hungry or Vietnam vet or whatever it says. But for $100, is it gonna make a difference in my life? No. Will it make it a difference in his life for the day? Absolutely. And I'm not going to pass judgment on what they do with the money. I don't want to see people out there starving when I'm not starving, and I can afford to feed someone for the day. I'll do that. So tithing is extremely important to me, and I think everybody that's listening should find a cause that they can wrap their head around and hug really hard. And till next time, thanks so much. Bye-bye.
Thanks for listening to the Michael Quarles Real Estate Show. Get more info and stay in touch at michaelquarles.com.